quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Every friends, buddy, and welcome to podcast.
Friends, buddy, good that time.
This is Tabletop Gold, episode 96. I'm Lars, Casteen, the Golden Tyrant. Welcome to our show. We are here today to play Pathfinder 2nd Edition as part of our The Roots of Ruin campaign, our production of the Abomination Vaults. You get it. I'm here today with four of the finest role-playing game professionals in the land. Robin Lange is here.
Wait, I thought the definition of professional meant you got paid for what you do.
Not anymore. The economy
Not
being
in 2023. It's a gig economy world.
Well, also, but gig economy, again, suggests you're getting paid.
I'm paying you in time that you're
time.
spending on the show. That's how you're getting paid, is in the time, right? This is it.
The money
Measured
we
love.
get is the friends we made along the way.
That's right. Look, we're working on it, Robin. I'm sorry. Zoe Chernicoff is here.
Hello, good that time.
Good that time to you as well. David the Tin Man Chernicoff is here.
Friends, good the time.
And what's your name? Armat Humphreys is here as well.
Good that time to you all.
Okay, Armat, you were traveling recently.
I was. I went out to Omaha to see a friend of mine and her husband from grad school. And we had an absolutely fantastic time. But
can we get a bird's eye view of Omaha real quick? Have you been to Omaha before?
No, I never had. And it's a really lovely city. We had so much good food. I had the literal biggest chicken fried steak I have ever seen in my life.
How big? Hit us up with some hands. We love a visual on this here audio podcast.
No joke, like this large.
What percentage of a cabbage would you measure the size as?
That's good.
In terms of pure weight, at least half a cabbage. Possibly
How about
up to like
circumference?
60% cabbage.
Okay.
What was the chicken fried steak's dew point?
Oh, that was 34 degrees.
So it was quite dewy, I imagine.
Yeah.
It was
Pretty dewy.
exceedingly dewy. Although that may have been the chorizo gravy on it.
Okay, so Omaha sounds like it's a nice place, nice food.
It's
you had a good
great,
time
yeah.
hanging out with your friends. You mentioned something to us earlier about a specific thing that you did in Omaha that I would like to get into.
I would love to. I was so excited about doing this. While I was there, my friend pointed out that they have a museum of shadows, which is advertised as the world's most haunted museum.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like totally a tourist trap kind of.
No, stop.
I know.
All the tourists can endure that haunting?
Yeah, it was pretty intense, let me tell you. But it's like a very fun thing. The museum's lights are off, so they give you a flashlight and you go through, and it's basically there's like the largest creepy doll collection of all time.
Wow, that's a nope from me, friend. No.
Wait, Robin, which part?
The no lights.
Okay.
We walk around with a flashlight and creepy dolls. Nope.
They have a lot of like fan submitted items, and they're all stories about like this was associated with a murder, and like I can no longer have this in my house. But one of the things they do offer is you can spend 10 minutes in one of the rooms with the lights completely out for a ghost challenge.
A ghost challenge?
Yeah, it's
Is
very silly.
anyone in there with you, or it's just you in the room?
Yeah, there was another guy who was a true believer, like one of the most sincere believers in this phenomena. And I love this stuff, but I have to admit that my skeptic nerve definitely sort of went off, and I was kind of giggling at the whole thing a little bit because, yeah, it's fun, but I did not see any spectral activity. Let's put it that way.
If you really believe in it, you'd think that place would be super dangerous. And why would you go?
Yes, and this guy did, because I was like, they have this one room in the basement that is like the most haunted doll they have. The creepiest of all creepy dolls.
Is it Annabelle?
They actually have a reproduction of, or one of the Annabelle dolls used in the film there. But no, this was like Claire, I think her name was.
That's a good creepy doll
That's
name.
a good one.
I do have to go in on a little bit more about my compatriot in this endeavor,
Please.
because at the beginning of the thing, he didn't end up going into the like most haunted creepy doll room with me, because he was like, man, I don't mess with that demonic stuff. And then was like,
Boundaries.
began praying aloud. And like, apparently my friend was watching on the closed circuit, see in the dark cameras they have, so you can watch people doing the challenge. And he was like holding up his cross to like keep spirits at bay and stuff. And afterwards, he was like reporting all this stuff he had seen. I saw nothing. Hate to break it to everyone. I was just as disappointed as you all were. But like, I sat there in the dark and kind of giggled to myself most of the way through it, maybe sort of dozed off a couple times. It was 10 minutes in complete darkness. But afterwards, this guy was like, asking the kid who came down, who was like 16, working,
Are you done with the doll yet?
And we were informed that there were all sorts of ghost orbs going off on the cameras during our sitting session.
Cool.
And the guy, I saw nothing going on, but he claimed to have seen several like spectral figures. And then he asked the kid, hey, does this thing glow? And it was like a creepy haunted calendar, Firemen ghost selection, of course.
I'm sorry, a creepy haunted calendar
I'm gonna
Firemen
need to
ghost
just go
selection?
back about 15
You
words.
used a really long series of nouns there, as though we were all going to have heard
And
that
adjectives,
exact
and
series
adjectives.
of nouns. Was there
Fair
an
enough.
adjective? Okay.
Creepy,
funny thing is that-
haunted.
In German, that's all one word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghostenflaggen.
Was this like sexy firefighters as ghosts?
To be perfectly honest, I don't really remember what the actual object was, but it was like a sort of photo or something flat and up against in a vitrine kind of thing. But he was asking the kid, hey, does this glow green? And the kid was like, well, I can't give you a hard answer on that. But to my knowledge, it does not. And he was claiming it had glowed green. He'd seen spectral Slenderman figures. And
I'm sorry, Armat. I'm just trying to get a sense of this.
Yeah.
You were in a basement room, sitting on a bench with this dude, sharing a room exclusively with Claire the haunted doll and a haunted fireman sexy calendar?
My brain exploded.
Is that what was going on?
More or less, actually. The guy was outside the room I was in. He was in another room. He was
Okay.
in the room that leads to Claire the creepy doll.
I see. Her.
He was
her
in
foyer.
the fireman sexy
Yes.
calendar room, the
Yes,
second creepiest room in the thing.
Yeah.
The sexiest creepy rooms.
The sexiest, creepiest little calendar on earth. And yeah, anyway, he was sitting next to this vitrine, and afterwards he was regaling everyone with the tales of all the supernatural phenomena he saw. Sadly, none of which revealed itself to me, I am sorry to say. But it was super fun. And
You had a good
sort
time.
of thematic. Yeah. Oh, I had a great time. I would totally go do it again. If you're in Omaha, highly recommend. Also, highly recommend Omaha. Had a great time there. Lovely, lovely city. Very nice people. Great food.
What's the name of the museum again?
Museum of Shadows, as seen on the Travel Channel.
Well, I feel like I now know what we can get Armat for the next time we should get him a gift. Because
Sexy
I
fireman calendar.
Well, I went and Googled just haunted doll because I was trying to remember the name of this particular one that the story does pretty much creep me. It's Robert the doll. He's the one in Key West. But when I Googled it, the first thing that came up was haunted dolls you can buy on eBay.
Oh, yeah.
course.
That's a whole
I
thing.
love it.
There's so many. You could buy a $2,000 haunted doll that's actively haunted apparently or a haunted
Go
doll for only
on.
$20.
Oh, I love it. There's a haunted doll for every budget.
That's nice. Yeah, it's guess. I found myself Googling this museum while we've been talking because a bunch of questions came up. Most of them focused on that calendar, which I'm still not super clear on. But they do have career opportunities at the museum for anyone who's in the greater Omaha area and looking for full-time job, side hustle. I really like the opener on that page, which says, at the Museum of Shadows, we are always looking for positive, reliable, and dedicated individuals to join our team. So, Sunny, I feel like you'd want, goth, depressed.
Right. We're looking for some
ornery.
real messed up weirdos to work here at the Museum of Shadows.
Can I read the description for one of these?
Yeah, and then let's move on.
So this is a very haunted doll, active, possessed, spirit, scary, creepy, poltergeist for $2,500
Okay.
out of Wisconsin.
Sure.
And the
One of the
description,
best dolls.
all in caps, all in
Doll country.
caps. Very haunted doll for sale. One of the creepiest dolls in my entire collection. Meet Winnie. Warning, real haunted doll. Scary, spooky, creepy spirit. I like that spirit is an adjective there as well.
That's good SEO,
she's-
too.
Yeah.
Got in all the synonyms.
My name is Benjamin, and I am the owner of a haunted doll museum. I collect and own rare haunted dolls from all around the world. Welcome to my shop. The dolls that I own are indeed haunted, and most are quite active. These dolls have been known to move around, make noises or sing, and even communicate on their own. A spirit named Winnie has carefully chosen this vessel as her forever home. The dolls communicate in a variety of different ways. They may prefer communicating through spirit board, EVP, pendulum, or other paranormal activity.
Yeah, do whatever you want to do and just have fun imagining that this doll is talking to you. However you want to do it, just go ahead and do it that way.
Per eBay, I
No
must
wrong
state
way.
that this item is tangible and is for an entertainment purposes only. I will not be liable for any unseen forces, unfortunate events, hospitalizations, or death.
Or lack
This
thereof.
includes any paranormal activity that may or may not occur. Please purchase dolls at your own
Acknowledging
risk.
Lars desperately wants us to stop, I have a question.
Yes,
Which is, do
please.
these sellers have reviews?
100% positive feedback on 49 items sold.
How many of those reviews are from
Matt?
corporeal versus incorporeal
Oh, yeah.
people?
Oh my gosh. And then there's haunted rings. God, it goes on, guys.
And you know what else goes on is our podcast, because I am ready right now to move on to the part of the show where I say thank you, and we all say thank you. Let us all express thanks. For the people who are helping us out and supporting the show and helping new people hear what it is that we're doing over here. We don't have, as Robin pointed out, we don't have a marketing budget. We don't have anything. What we've got is all of y'all leaving reviews for us at your various podcast apps, such as Ninth Watcher, who left a review over on Apple Podcasts. They say that the story is top-notch. That's partially because we're running the great Abomination Vaults Adventure Path, of course, and that the audio is great. So thank you so much to Ninth Watcher for that review and for helping us out in that way. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And now, speaking of haunted things, let's get into our game. As you've uncovered the last unexplored areas of the 5th floor of the Abomination Vaults, you've faced a gauntlet of incorporeal undead. First a specter, then a shadow, and now a duo of bickering poltergeists wearing the clothing of centuries out-of-date aristocrats. You've interrupted an argument between the two, so they've turned their attention to you, shouting ominously all the while. The four of you have walked into this room that is like a luxury lounge, a private dining room with 4 tables, personal ovens, and beautiful silverware and flatware long since destroyed, with a direct viewing angle onto this transparent, enchanted stone screen from which the people centuries ago attending the events at Belcora Haravex's arena would have been able to watch the festivities. festivities. The horrible violence is a better turn of phrase.
AKA.
Yeah, let's not yuck anybody's yum over here, guys. So these two poltergeists are yelling back and forth at each other. They see you and they start shouting, "No escape! Stuck here forever!" And suddenly, broken plates, silverware, glassware lift off of the ground, and it is now time to roll for initiative. Yeah. Roll for initiative.
How do you feel about rolling occultism on this one? Since we had to deal with some magic to get into the room.
I'll buy it. Sure. You are in an occultism frame of mind. You step in here, and that's when you start hearing these voices yell at each other. I will totally buy it.
Nice.
How would you feel about my using Trill's occultism roll instead of the roll that I just rolled?
Listen, I love saying yes to people, so let's make it happen.
I was in a Trill thinking of the occult frame of mind.
All right. How did everybody do? Let's start with Robin. Robin, you rolled occultism because you were studying magical things. What was your initiative?
It helped. It definitely helped. That extra 2 points on that one. So I ended up with a 27.
Okay. I have a question. Was anybody here scouting?
Mag would have been scouting for enemies.
Okay.
That's her standard watchful posture in these kinds of situations.
So what that means is that Trill is first in the initiative order because she tied with the first of these poltergeists. So Trill is going to go first.
Thank you, Mag.
Zoe, how did Ao do on her initiative?
She did okay. She got a 19 all in.
Okay. Well, let's just spoil the ending of this story. You are a little bit faster than one of the poltergeists, so you will be able to catch one of them flat-footed.
Nice.
Nice. David, how did Mag do as she was scouting for enemies?
Not so great. It's just a 5 on the die for a 15 for Mag. So I'm imagining that all of the various, especially that sort of portal window thing that we have been playing around fiddling with, was just completely absorbing Mag's attention here, and she was not ready for anyone to sneak up.
There's a lot going on in this room, so I think that entirely makes sense. And Armat, Iston, he's enfeebled, but is he slow? How is his initiative?
He did okay on his initiative roll. I got a 12 on the die for 22 total.
Okay. Pretty quick. Going right after Trill and the first of these poltergeists. So at the time that all of this material starts telekinetically lifting off the ground, Trill is able to get off the first actions of the first round of this encounter. There's one thing that I want to tell you right off the bat, and that is that a lot of the area in this room is difficult terrain. Trill and Iston are sort of taking up the front of the charge into this room right now, standing in the middle of this chamber strewn with all of these dishes and so on. The area that you're standing in is not difficult terrain, but basically everything towards the two sides of the room around where these two ghosts have been throwing things back and forth at each other, that is difficult terrain. So that means it's going to take 10 feet of movement to move into any of those spaces.
Okay.
And here we go. Things lift off the ground. Poised to fly at you, Trill leaps into action. What is Trill going to do?
The poltergeists are currently invisible, right?
Yes, that's something I should point out. I described these ghosts as flickering in and out of existence, but they are basically invisible right now. You know where they are. Like, you have a sense within 5 feet of where they are because they are screaming and moaning the entire time. But they are hidden from you right now because you can't see them, but you can hear them very clearly.
Oh, interesting. My fairy fire is a 10-foot burst.
And these ghosts are about 30 feet away from each other.
Right. So I can only reveal one at this moment, but okay. First thing Trill's going to do. Dirge of Doom worked pretty well last time, so I think she's going to try it again. So she's going to Lingering Comp into Dirge of Doom.
All right.
So she plays some creepy goth rock. Yes, so that was a 31, which was a critical success.
That's a critical success.
Nice.
Thanks to
Nice.
your Maestro's instrument and your virtuosic performer. That pushes that into a
Nice.
critical success. So Trill, being a
Beautiful.
specialist here, manages to frighten both of these poltergeists for 3 rounds.
That's awesome.
And for her second and third action, Trill's going to fairy fire. She'll fairy fire the one to the right. That's a little closer to Iston.
A burst of glowing fire wraps itself around the poltergeist on the eastern side of the room, and it is now not invisible to you. It is now concealed. Or it is not
Okay.
hidden from you anymore. It is concealed.
Do both of them now have the frightened condition?
They do.
Cool.
So as soon as the fairy fire wraps around the ghost on the eastern side of the room, you see its mouth stretch open, plain as day in front of you as it screams, "No escape!" And it is now that poltergeist's turn.
Nice.
You see this poltergeist move its arms around like it's conducting a symphony, all the while shouting, "Stuck here!" As a chair lifts off the floor, a plate, a goblet, a shard of glass, as a telekinetic storm of stuff just flies across the room at each and every one of you. First, a chair at Iston. That's a 16 to hit.
That will not hit.
Then, a shard of glass at Trill. It's a 26 to hit.
That does hit.
As Trill gets lacerated for 13 points of piercing damage.
Can we Oh.
Oh.
A goblet.
Yeah, that's my fault. Sorry.
A goblet flies at Mag. This is all happening simultaneously. 27 to hit.
27 hits.
19 points of bludgeoning damage, and then a sharpened plate whirls towards Ao. A 26.
That'll hit.
So that's 18 points of slashing damage to Ao. As this frenzy of objects flies around the room. And then what do I do? Fuck.
It's a lot to track.
And
Full
then
knowledge.
the poltergeist opens its mouth and shouts directly at Iston. "Never getting away!" As he attempts to demoralize Iston. This is a 20 versus Iston's will DC.
That will not do it then. Iston's will DC is 22.
Okay, so Iston shrugs it off, and it is now Iston's turn as the ghost on the other side of the room shouts, "No escape!"
Ooh, love that effect.
It's Iston's turn.
Iston is going to start by trying to recall knowledge about whatever he might know about poltergeists.
Yeah, give me this either occultism or religion check.
Okay, I'm going to go occultism.
Okay,
Team of occultists.
Yeah.
so
Yeah, really.
poltergeists. Iston has not necessarily faced one before, but this group has. In upstairs on the 4th floor, there was that waiter that rose as a poltergeist in that garbage chute room.
Oh, right.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The main thing you know about poltergeists is that they are undead spirits that are locked into a certain place because of some traumatic event. The main thing that they do is they manipulate things telekinetically. You've gotten a good view of that.
German for noisy ghost.
But the thing that really sticks out in Iston's mind as he is considering this spectral creature floating in front of him, wrapped in Trill's fairy fire, is that this is the sort of undead that has something called rejuvenation. This creature will come back, will rise again when destroyed, until somebody determines the reason that it is stuck here and sets right whatever prevents the spirit from resting.
Oh, right.
Oh. Well, I think then obviously the first thing he does is shout that out to the rest of the team and be, we've got to find out what its unfinished business is. What's tying it to here?
Was the librarian's assistant the one who we helped with the book repairing tools? Was she technically a poltergeist or no?
Chantriyu and Vizar.
No, not Shant. The other one.
The other one.
Not Miss Barzar.
None of those two were poltergeists, but rejuvenation is an incredibly common feature among
Right, because
undead.
I remember she would have come back if we hadn't figured out how to help her fix that book.
Yes. So this is like that circumstance, except these two squabbling aristocratic ghosts are throwing plates at you the entire time.
Wow.
Cool.
Cool. Well, after shouting that out, I think he's going to try using Produce Flame to see if he can hit the one that Trill has outlined in Fairy Fire. That is a 6 on the flat check.
Which passes because it's concealed. Way to go, Trill.
Awesome. Thank heavens. 18 on the attack roll.
And that 18 misses.
Oof.
As this bit of fire flies by the ghost screaming, "Never getting out!" And it is now Ao's turn.
Now that they're frightened one, are they flat-footed to me? How did that work out? There's a whole bunch of feet that now nest.
Yes, they are flat-footed to you. It's
Okay.
true. Because of your dread striker.
I am a dread striker. So I think Ao is pissed that she's been cut by this plate. It's been a while since she's gotten injured in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
I can't actually think of the last time. So when Ao is angry, she begins cussing up a storm. So she looks over at this poltergeist that has hurled the plate at her. Never getting out of here. I'll tell you something, you son of a bitch. You think you're never getting out of here. And just bleepity bleep bleep bleep. And she casts biting words at that poltergeist.
All right. Let's get that attack roll.
Oh, that was frustrating. Teetering there on a 20, but it was a 2 on the die for a 14.
Your magically enhanced words skip right past the ghost.
Boo.
Stuck here forever.
She's just muttering obscenities. Stuck in your own asshole is more like it.
And Ao's got, I think, one more action.
She pulls out the lantern.
The lantern that you got from Volek Azrene's desk. A truly disturbing artifact. Let's see what happens with it.
Truly encumbering.
Yeah, very heavy. It's Mag's turn. As Mag feels the weight of Ao's words wash over her, what will Mag do?
It's interesting that nobody's moved.
It's just not that kind of party anymore.
We're also just all we got a lot of casters now.
Yeah. People like staying put these days. Nobody wants to work
we should
anymore.
get those comfy chairs out before every fight. Just have a nice sit.
Yeah. The combat recliner.
She'll needs a little stool, if she's at a coffee shop performing.
There's not a whole lot Mag can do without moving. So I think Mag's going to move toward the one to the west, which puts herself between it and Trill.
And as she passes by Trill, a plate rises up off of the ground and slams Mag in the face.
Wow, more like attack of a smack of opportunity.
So this is a 28 to hit Mag.
Yeah, sure, that'll do it.
And this is bludgeoning you with the flat side of the plate, so that is 5 points of damage, a very low damage roll. As the ghost that Mag is approaching shouts, "Never leaving!"
Mag was pretty ready to roll even before that little dessert plate gave her an extra little love tap. But now she's definitely ready to rage. And I think she is as ready as she's ever been to try to smack a poltergeist with a hammer. That is a 22 to hit this beastie.
So that 22 will hit, but you are attacking something that is hidden from you, so I need a flat check.
Right. Sure.
And you want to beat an 11 on a d20 roll. You have a 50-50 chance of hitting it or not.
That's a 16.
So you do hit it. So go ahead and roll damage as you feel the maul intersecting with something invisible floating in front of you.
26 points of damage. Is it all going to go through?
It is not all going to go through. You feel your maul slip through the air in a way that suggests that not every ounce of your strength is getting applied to this foe, but it is still a big hit.
And as she makes contact with the poltergeist, Mag says, "Where are you trying to get to?" And as she says, "Get," the maul lands its blow on the poltergeist.
Cold fucking day in hell, AO is mumbling behind me.
So as you say that, he says, "Well, we're trying to get out of here," as they immediately stop all violence towards you.
Well, then what's stopping you?
Well, we're quite stuck here. Yes, we're stuck here. Bartleby, tell him. Well, we were coming to see a show here. It was all that idiot Fletcher's idea. It was not my idea, Bartleby. You demanded we come here. That Belcora Horovex put on a great show, and you said we should watch it. That's not how I remember it. Anyway, during the middle of this quite gruesome fight, word came through that Belcora had died. And then the situation exploded into bedlam. Yes, we were stuck in this room. We could never escape. Yes, who knows what evil things are lurking out there once Belcora has fallen.
Why couldn't you escape?
Violence is happening out there. Yes. Without the queen of the house, all of these horrible monstrosities were running around, killing everything. And so we barricaded ourselves in here, and we've been trapped ever since.
You know, it's actually pretty quiet out there now. You got to really go hunting for stuff if you want to get in a fight with you.
No, but the doors are too heavy. They close on me all the time. I can't get through them.
Wait, didn't we also stick a bunch of doors open with rocks?
What? You can do that?
I mean, but you can pick up a rock and stick it in front of the door, yeah.
If you're strong enough.
Fletcher, why didn't we think to do that? We're ghosts, you moron. We can't just pick things up and move them wherever we want to.
Right, hang on a minute.
Sure, yes, the elf.
Thank you. Weren't you just picking up things in here and throwing them at us?
There's a difference between placing something neatly under a door that you've pushed open and just throwing something at an idiot to hurt them.
Hey!
Right, I get that.
Please forgive my brother. He's a crude person, but every word he says is true.
Where are you trying to go? Where's home?
We're just trying to get out.
So if we were to lead you out of the dungeon ourselves, would that... Mag's rage is starting to fade. Would that be the kind of guidance that you need? You just need to find your way back out to the open air?
We're gonna lead these SOBs? I was like outraged in the background. I slashed through my leather armor. I'm bleeding. There's blood everywhere.
What if we drew you like a map?
Why can't you just tell me what to do?
Before we do, I imagine we have a few more questions for you, which we'll probably ask you simultaneously until you tell us to stop.
Yes, if you could stack the questions up one on top of the other and make them very similar to each other, that would be most expedient for me. No, don't listen to him. That's awful.
You said you came here to see a show put on by someone called Belcora?
Yes,
What do you know about her?
Oh, well, I hadn't heard much about her, but I knew that she was something of a showman putting on incredible feats of barbarity in this arena nearby.
What kind of shows, you sicko?
Well, we saw a horde of goblins defeat a leucodaemon.
Oh, that sounds brilliant.
It was very one-sided. Bad booking. But Bartleby has no taste in the combat arts. He was grinning like an idiot watching a really uninteresting fight. I liked the Cyclops on Cyclops action. Boring. Very long. Very technical. Did not care for it.
4 stars.
I asked before, but you didn't say, where do you guys come from? Where is home?
We ventured forth from Absalom. It was a long journey, but it was worth it for it's something we've never seen before. But now that we're talking about it, not worth it for, of course, dying after the fall of Belcora and being stuck here as a ghost for centuries.
How'd you know she died?
Well, we know she died because somebody ran into the room screaming, "Belcora's dead! She's dead! Quick, kill everyone!" And then he was punctured through the head with an arrow. Yes, and then the one who shot the arrow was eaten.
His name was Eaton, or
Yes,
he was
his name was
by
Eaton.
something?
How'd he die?
Somebody ate him.
Had to. You had to.
It's kind of weird that it's a little bit weird that you came from Absalom, since
Yes.
you know she was trying to destroy Absalom.
I didn't know that. I just knew she put on a good show. Then I suppose it's good that she died.
She hated people from Absalom.
Well, I guess our money's spent even if she hated us. And if she hated us, she got her final revenge on us, didn't she?
What did you cook on these ovens?
A personal flatbread covered with tomato sauce and cheese.
Like a pizza?
I do not know this term. We call them flatbreads. Were those your questions?
So are we?
Trying to remember.
Are we telling these guys how to get out of here so that they can dissipate and go off to Pharasma?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think if there's anything. I mean, is there anything useful that these
I think they're just rich idiots.
Why would Belcora dying mean you have to kill everybody else?
Because everyone is, I don't know, there's no more money happening, and so the people in charge just got a chance to murder people.
If I may, it seemed like there was a power vacuum that led to incredible bloodshed. Yes,
That makes sense.
similar to how we came into our mining concern that we operated in life. There was a guy, we killed him, and we took his mining operation.
Would you mind?
All kinds of things.
Were you good at it?
We were the best.
At stealing companies from people?
Well, we were better than at least one person at doing that.
right, I can see that.
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't shake the feeling there's something else to learn here, but seems like maybe not.
Yeah,
so
maybe
I guess
like
we should just turn
Do a
them loose.
recall. Maybe do a recall knowledge to see if there's anything else we
Or,
are
like,
missing.
sense motive. You guys have been in this room for a while. Is there anything valuable in here?
If there is, it's probably inside that box. as Fletcher motions over to a beat-up looking metal box lying in the corner of the room. I've thrown it at my brother roughly 5 million times, and it has yet to break open. And I've thrown it back at him roughly 4,999,909 times.
Oh, so he's winning.
No! And he
It sounds
throws
like
the
you guys
box.
really-
He throws the box across the room at his brother one last time.
With that, AO starts ignoring them and just goes to check out the box while everyone's prattling on.
It sounds like you guys are really ready for a break from each other. Let's help you get out of here.
Yes. Please, how do we get out?
Well, you're gonna head
And
down. Out
Trill
this
and
door.
Mag just like kind of give them directions on what to do to get back to the surface.
There, you'll make another left. You'll see a staircase leading up.
Perhaps we should stop in at that undead clinic you mentioned. Maybe there's some guidance we could get from that gentleman you mentioned to help us on our way.
I think by the time you get up there, you'll be well on your way already.
Yes, it was a stupid idea, Fletcher. Shut up.
Well, feel free to stop in with Augriel. He may have a kind word for you, or whatever it is you folks snack on.
Yeah, and tell Agriel we sent you to find peace. He'll know what it means.
We will tell him that. Well, I hope these directions are good. Ta-ta! And with that, the two poltergeists fly out of the room, their coattails flapping ethereally behind them.
I'm so glad I spent a spell slot on that.
Hey, it's a game of depleting resources. What can I tell you? It's my job to get you to waste a spell slot on something dumb.
Success.
As usual, everyone just runs around hurling resources at the problem until the barbarian reasons with it.
Oh yeah, so hero point for David for doing that for sure. Hero point.
The thinking man's barbarian.
So yeah, with Bartleby and Fletcher out of this room, and with Ao holding this box, you're able to get a sense of this elite viewing room in some more detail. Firstly, there's a set of double doors leading off to the north, and then a second door on the northeastern side of the room. As Ao is examining this box, the rest of you are able to pick through the refuse of this chamber, and you don't find anything else that hasn't just been blasted completely into smithereens. But when Ao takes a look at this dented steel box, she sees that there is a mechanism that would have been able to open it and close it, but it has since been jammed completely shut. No matter what she does to pull at it, like no strength will open it.
Will a thieves' kit potentially pry into it?
Yeah, you're able to pull out your thieves' kit, and could you please give me that thievery check?
Sure can. The 13 on the die for a 27.
And you manage to chink unjam that mechanism.
Nice.
And the box opens up, and you see that it is lined, this box is lined with lead. There's a soft metal inside of the box that has been dented over the roughly 10 million times it's been thrown to have all kinds of ripples and curves all over it. But in the middle of the box, resting on some of that lead, is an unusual looking ring.
Shiny.
Trill takes a look at that ring and starts wanting to identify.
Trill
I feel
attempts
like
to
there's
take a
something
look at that
magic.
ring and gets her hand slapped away by Ao, who is looking at the ring.
Istin will also try to take a look at it.
Would crafting help, or is this just magic stuff?
This is just magic stuff. The checks that I put into chat are the 4 magic skills. So I'm trying to get this avalanche of checks that you guys just told me about and parse what the hell just happened. Okay, so Ao spends 10 minutes looking at it, slapping Trill's hands away. She doesn't have a great sense of what it is. Then Trill...
She doesn't have, say, 2 senses of what it is?
Or what it's not.
So this is not a recall knowledge check. This is identify, so dubious knowledge doesn't apply. I was like, do I have to come up with 2 items this item is? And then, oh no.
It's a bomb.
So Trill does the same, and she's completely lost about what this item is.
Ugh.
And then for 10 minutes, Istin looks at it, and he gets the sense that this is something called a ring of wizardry.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Type 1. And what this ring is it gives you a +1 item bonus to Arcana checks, and it gives you 2 additional first-level arcane spell slots that you can cast each day.
Awesome! Holy crow, that's so cool.
And it's only useful to you.
Yeah. Istin starts visibly drooling a little bit as he's gazing at it. Like, sorry. He wipes the drool away from his lips.
Trill looks over at Ao.
I don't think either of us can really use this. And it's also kind of big for my fingers.
Well, sure. Your hands are so slender and delicate.
Not mine!
And you did just get the hat, Ao.
Well, I don't think anyone here has ever thought I was worried about even Steven. We really want to give the new guy this valuable thing?
I mean, what else are we going to do with it? Neither of us can use it.
We could sell it.
We could sell it.
I'd like to humbly request you do. There's this great spell I love. It's called True Strike. I've used it in a million situations. There was this one time I was facing off
just give him the ring.
with a kobold, right? And this kobold...
Shh, pretty man. Just stop talking.
Oh, you think I'm pretty, eh? All right, I'll quiet down, eh?
Ao has one eyebrow cocked, and she just sort of gingerly reaches out and sets it in his open hand.
And Mag, as she does this, Mag walks up to Istin and gives him a once-over. Not the kind of once-over that Trill keeps giving him. A more evaluative
He waggles his eyebrows at her anyway.
Which Mag doesn't take to very well.
Mag rages.
Not quite, but she's getting there. And she gives Istin's chest plate a little tap with the handle of her maul and says, "So you say you're up for an adventure. Most of what I see is you ending up in the line of fire and not really using your head. So why is it that you're here? You just looking for expensive baubles?"
And Istin's eyebrows sort of shoot up, cease waggling at Mag for the moment.
Wise.
Good read.
And sort of crosses his arms and says, "No, hang on there. Who was it that took that big head back there with the shadow instead of you, Lars?" "That was me. When I was young, I left home at 15 years.
Hey, cut to now. We know how this
Now,
goes.
hang on a minute. I was in the middle of speaking, Al. And if you want an explanation, you're gonna bloody well get one. Right. So, as I was saying, I left home when I was 15. And I had a dream to become the greatest adventurer in the world. And he takes his hand and gestures in sort of a rainbow arc as though he can see the words, "the greatest adventurer in the world," spelled out in front of him. And while I haven't quite managed to do that yet, I love adventuring. I love doing this, meeting people, fighting strange things, getting my ass handed to me and handing other people's arse to them. It's the only life I love. And my father was here. I don't know much about him, but he spent his entire bloody life, and it was a long one, researching this place, and never really thought much of him. I didn't play much of a role in my life. But I'd like to get to know, as best I can, the man or elf he was. And he spent some time with you. Although why at present moment I'm having a hard time understanding, eh? And he taps Mag right back on her piece of armor.
As he does, she catches his hand and she squeezes his wrist until it forces it back open, revealing the ring once more.
Look, you want it, bloody well take it. But I'm sticking around.
Mag takes it.
Fine, see if I care. And he sulks off.
And Mag holds it up in front of her. And as he stalks to the opposite side of the room, she says to his back,
I don't even bleeding want it now.
I very much doubt that's the case.
Yeah, I do.
Just as well as I doubt that any of the rest of us can use this thing. So you show us who you are, and you show us what you intend to do with it, and you can have it back.
All right.
And she drops it into the pouch at her belt.
You do know you're depriving me of an asset that could be helping you.
Yeah, Mag, I was going to say that actually. It might be a better idea for him to have it. Like, I get what we're all saying, but it would be like taking my pendant of the occult and because I had been naughty or something, or I'd said something that upset you, even though it's really helpful.
No, if she wants to proceed in a way that's illogical, I'm perfectly fine with that. But let's be clear, it is somewhat illogical.
And while everyone is talking, Ao sends her mage hand over to sort of go into the pouch and see if it can get the ring out.
Mag catches the mage hand in her hand, and she squeezes the wrist hard until the mage hand opens up in exactly the same way, even though there's nothing in it.
And the mage hand begins, like, in Mag's hand, trying to pinch her.
Ao, you can take this back.
The ring?
No, this thing. And Mag, tosses the mage hand onto the ground.
Now I'm just picturing a sort of ghost-like cousin It.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or thing.
It was the
Thing.
hairy one.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, Mag's not going to hang on to this thing forever. I don't think Mag is impressed with Istin. And I think Mag was particularly unimpressed with Istin immediately reaching for this piece of treasure, having shown no skill and with, let's say, a less than disciplined demeanor.
All right. Keep the bloody ring. I don't care. Boy. And then he looks at Triddle and grins and says, wasn't that amazing? Those bloody ghosts all frustrated and throwing things at each other for God knows how many centuries. Oh, I can't believe we just freed him. That was incredible.
Yeah, it did feel pretty good, actually.
Right? Does this happen every time you go down here? You come into the middle of some great drama or situation.
This was actually much easier with a much nicer resolution than most of the things that happen down here, to be honest.
And Istin's eyes light up. And he said, that was easy? Brilliant.
And as that realization washes over Istin, he realizes that he is now enfeebled too.
Oh, I feel like a new man.
And all the while, also, Trill kind of keeps looking over at Mag with an askance of kind of thinking this was not a good decision on Mag's part and feeling Mag is acting out of character.
Yeah, I don't think Mag clocks most of that.
Istin will also turn to Ao and go, I'm sorry, Ao. I didn't mean to yell at you like that. Sometimes I get so caught up in the moment. I can't really hold myself back. But I think you're lovely, and I look forward to working with you more.
She sort of deadpans him. Yeah, we're an emotional group.
I can see that.
And while this is all going on, she is treating herself, and then I think there's a couple of other little
Sure. So let's get some treat wounds checks, please.
All right, so I can do 2 of us at a time.
Okay, so you're targeting what DC are you targeting?
I did the 20 DC.
All right.
20 to go a little faster. Targeting Trill and Ao to start for 23 points of healing.
Okay, so you're able
Thank
to
you.
tend to both Ao and Trill
And that heals Trill up.
within
Thank
10 minutes, and the two of you are looking like you are in ship shape.
All right, Mag, your turn. And Ao, perhaps a little more forcefully than needed, applies gauze. She's sort of annoyed at Mag, too. Another 20 DC for 20 points of damage, or repair, rather.
Nice.
Psych, Mag! She's so annoyed at you, she stabs you. No.
So it looks like Mag is at 106 of 110 hit points.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
thank you.
Oh my god, that's so many hit points.
Listen, Mag's a hefty lady.
David's like, that's normal. What? Like, David, how many hit points do you think Trill has? If you had to guess.
Mag has 110, so Trill probably has, I don't know, 104?
you were really close.
I have 62. That's at max.
I don't know how the math works in this game. +1 is nothing.
So, Zoe, are you doing any more healing, or?
I did one more round at a DC 15 since we didn't need much to get her up to whole and got 7 more points of healing. So
Okay.
Everyone should be good.
So after about half an hour of healing, Ao has managed to get everyone's wounds from these flying dishes and goblets and the like repaired. And just to reset the situation here, you're standing in this luxury box overlooking the arena. There's a double door to your north that you haven't explored, and then another door off to the east on the northern side of the room that you have yet to interact with.
Smaller door?
Trill suggests.
Works for me, Istin says gleefully.
Ao listens at it and checks for traps.
Yeah, you don't hear anything and you don't see any traps.
Trill scouting.
Okay. So everyone prepared for more action on the other side of this door. Who's going to open it?
Mag.
Mag pushes the door open and finds herself looking into a very cluttered stairway, small stairway, like a service stairway leading downwards. You get the sense that all of this is, like, all of these steps are greater difficult terrain, which means that they take even more feet of movement to get into, because this downward staircase is more cluttered and left, like, untouched than anything that you've seen previously. Like, kitchen equipment smashed apart, cabinets broken apart on this staircase leading down, glass all over the place, broken stone, etc.
There any teeth? Any teeth in the rubble?
If
Secret
Mag
doors?
sees any, she will certainly grab them for AO/Norman. But yeah, I don't know if there's any more treasure to be had as we kind of trudge our way.
You don't find anything of value in this hallway as you walk down these stairs.
All right. Well, let's keep moving. It looks like it bends around to the east here at a certain point.
Yeah, it bends down to the east and it keeps going downward.
Oh, like downward?
Downward.
Oh.
So you head down these stairs and you come to a door.
What do you think, guys?
I think we ought to do it. Kick her in, Mag.
And instead of kicking her in, Mag steps aside to let Istin go first.
Oh, all right. I don't mind if I do.
So you're able to push your way past everybody else through this cluttered hallway. Like Istin probably has to climb over part of a chest of drawers, has to edge around AO, and so on and so forth.
And I imagine that as he gets close to the door, he and Mag end up face to face, like armor scraping against one another in this tight hallway.
I just need to. If I do this, oh jeez. I'm sorry about that.
Be my guest.
All right, here goes. And he tries to force the door open.
So you push the door open. And a set of polished wooden tables, chairs, and a long wooden bar mark this chamber as a tavern. The smell of spilled beer and fried morsels pervades the room. In the southeast corner, an elevated stage overlooks the seating of this tavern. There are doors all over the place, right? There's a door, as Istin looks around, a double door leading off to the west, some doors behind the bar, etc., etc. Doors all over the place. And there's a sound of jovial conversation, flatware on dishes, and clinking flagons of mead as you get a look at the patrons of this tavern. A pair of Morlocks play a card game at a nearby table, locked in intense competition with each other. In the middle of the room, a monstrous figure with the torso and head of a fanged drow woman and the legs and abdomen of a gigantic spider.
I'm sorry, what?
She's reading a book, momentarily stopping to turn it sideways, letting a long folded sheet of paper drop down, which she then examines closely before folding the sheet back into the book. Behind the bar, there's another Morlock pouring a drink for yet another Morlock, barely paying attention to the patron's complaint-heavy story. Immediately as you enter the room, all conversation and eating sounds stop, and the eyes of all 5 of these creatures lock on you as a displeased look spreads across all their faces.
And Ao, who has been in the back of the pack, seeing that it's a room full of Morlocks, uses her new hat to turn into a Morlock.
I was going to suggest that. Yes.
Okay.
That's
Just to be
awesome.
technical, what we're imagining here is that Ao comes out of the room, sees the Morlocks, then leaves the room, turns on the hat to disguise herself, or is she just casting a magic spell in front of people and magically?
So in my mind, she's like, you've got Mag and Istin and maybe Trill even in front of her. She is like peeked through the doorway and is trying to do it covertly. I mean, that could fail, right? But like she thinks that this is happening before people have gotten a chance to register that she is there.
Okay, so you're being sneaky about it, you're getting cover and so on.
That's the idea.
Okay.
We saw how the last disguise went. I think we can all agree this is a guaranteed success.
Okay, so Ao is now a Morlock with bleached white eyes, large like mushrooms, and slick white skin covering her body.
Yang yang bonabo.
And the Morlocks look at you with a sort of sick kind of look spreading across their faces as you see that on the tavern's southeast end, on this stage, there's a band tuning their instruments and preparing to sing. There's a lizard-like humanoid listening intently to the strings of a lute as he brings them into key. There's a a pale-skinned sort of dwarf-looking woman tightening the pegs on a set of 3 wooden drums. Let me show you that art. There's another pale-skinned creature, this one much taller, wearing an ornate purple bodysuit with scalloped shoulder pads.
Oh.
And she's listening intently to a much longer lute, adjusting the pitch of its low, bassy notes. And a fur-covered, rat-like woman has her head turned away from you as she's talking about something with the dwarf-looking drummer. And here's that art.
Oh.
A moment later,
Cool.
though, as this rat-like woman catches up to the silence of the tavern's displeased patrons, she turns her head to shout, "What, did somebody die in here?" And then she sees the 4 of you and stops talking, confused for a moment. She looks as though she's about to speak again, and then her eyes meet those of Ao, disguised as a Morlock. And it feels as though time is standing still as the tavern goers, the band, and everyone else see this ratfolk woman staring at Ao. And then finally, she turns back, whispers something to the bassist, sits down behind a keyboard, and the band starts to play a tune. You leave in the morning with everything you own in a little black case. Alone on a platform, the wind and the rain on a sad and lonely face. Mother will never understand why you had to leave, but the answers you seek will never be found at home. The love that you need will never be found at home. Run away, turn away, run away, turn away, run away. Run away, turn away, run away, turn away, run away.
Goddamn.
Pushed around and kicked around, always a lonely boy. You were the one that they talk about around town as they put you down. But as hard as they would try, they'd hurt to make you cry. But you never cried to them, just to your soul. No, you never cried to them, just to your soul. Run away, turn away, run away, turn away, run away. Run away, turn away, run away, turn away, run away. Run away, turn away, run away, turn away, run away. Run away, turn away, run away, turn away, run away. Cry, cry boy, cry, cry. Cry boy, cry, cry, cry. Cry boy, cry, cry. Cry, boy, cry, cry, cry. Cry, boy, cry, cry. Cry, boy, cry, cry, cry. Cry, boy, cry, cry. Cry, boy, cry, cry, cry.
How do you give a GM a hero point?
To be clear, AO allows no such yelling in the real room. But
All the hero points.
Oh, that was amazing.
I love that.
That was amazing.
That was amazing.
And the singer, once again, the song done, turns her eyes back to Ao. And there's a brief moment. And the band start playing again as the rest of the tavern's customers go back to what they were doing before you came into this room. And as Ao stands there in Morlock form, reacting to what just happened, we will pick up from there next time.
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. The Roots of Ruin uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's Community Use Policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way. Original characters and content are the property of Tabletop Gold. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Email us at letters@tabletopgold.com and find all our social links at tabletopgold.com.